and she says she remembers me washing the French fries under the sink before I would eat them. So I dislike the taste of salt so much that I would prefer a wet, soggy French fry over a salty French fry. I was just making a video today on potassium levels in your diet, and how if you're not consuming enough potassium, how you can, a neat little trick that I've come up with to add more potassium into your diet. And why is potassium important? Supposedly low potassium levels, which the proper amount of potassium, what I was reading about, the recommended daily allowance is 4,700 milligrams a day, to where sodium is just 1,500 milligrams. And it's said that only 2% of Americans have adequate amounts of potassium in their diet. And it's usually the flip-flop. It's usually way more sodium than it is potassium. I mean, you can look at like one TV dinner and it has close to 2,000, if not 2,000 milligrams of sodium in it. So it said that if you don't have enough potassium in your diet, you can experience muscle weakness, you can experience fluid retention, high blood pressure. Most people think it's just high sodium, high salt causes high blood pressure, but it said low potassium can cause this high blood pressure and fluid retention, water retention. It said it can also cause heart arrhythmia, and I think I already said muscle weakness. So with 4,700 milligrams of potassium needed in the diet, that's pretty hard to reach, just from diet alone. You're gonna have to, the main source I have seen of potassium in my diet is, that like a stir-fry vegetables. 1 pound of that equals, I think, 1,200 milligrams of potassium. And I do remember a time in my life I used to eat 3 pounds of these vegetables a day, which it seemed like all I was doing was chewing food. But I do remember that was the strongest that I was in my whole time that I've been lifting weights. That was when I was doing my best lifts, when I was eating those 3 pounds of those vegetables a day. So one way that I've seen that you can add potassium to your diet, you can supplement with potassium capsules, but they're only like 99 milligrams per capsule. So you would have to take an extremely large amount of these capsules, which they don't recommend taking very many of them. Said they can cause, they're very hard on the stomach, and they can cause heart problems by taking very many of them. And so it's really recommended to get potassium from your food. But what a lot of people don't know is another source of potassium is potassium chloride. And what potassium chloride is this right here, is just a salt substitute, and it tastes almost just like salt. But you'll not see me sprinkling this on my food. I dislike the taste of really anything salty or salt on my food. I remember my mom even telling me that she can remember like bringing home, French fries from Wendy's or whatever, and she says she remembers me washing the French fries under the sink before I would eat them. So I dislike the taste of salt so much that I would prefer a wet, soggy French fry over a salty French fry. So that being said, there is some things that I do like that has a salty flavor. It seems like they taste odd if they don't have a salty flavor. Like if you could imagine beef jerky that's not salty, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a potato chip would be, or a pickle would be weird if it didn't have a salty flavor. So, and two of those things that I consume daily is soy sauce and bone broth. And I put soy sauce on my stir-fry vegetables. They just taste twice as good if you put soy sauce on them before you cook them, or cook them in soy sauce. But the trick I was talking about doing to add potassium is you can get these, like this is a low sodium type of soy sauce, and it's like half the amount of soy sauce or sodium per bottle as the regular soy sauce. And then you have the, this is unsalted bone broth. So I get these two things, and they really, just the way they are, don't taste very good, to be honest. Not to me anyhow. So what I do is I replace the sodium, or sodium chloride that was in them, with this potassium chloride. I don't go overboard. I just bring the levels back up, because what I didn't say in the beginning was, just a quarter teaspoon of this has 800 milligrams of potassium in it. So it doesn't take very much of this to bring the flavor back the way these originally were, with potassium chloride instead of sodium chloride or salt. So with doing that, you're keeping your sodium levels low and increasing your potassium levels. Also, something that I forgot to mention is, since I have been supplementing with this and got my potassium levels up to, recommended daily allowances, I have noticed quite a bit of loss in water retention. From what I did think I was just carrying extra body fat, and was, it wasn't over the board levels. It was levels I was comfortable with. But as soon as I raised my potassium levels, by, I think, probably a couple of thousand milligrams, I immediately saw a reduction in, water retention, which it gives the appearance of losing body fat. You're not losing body fat, but water retention can look the same as body fat. So I thought I would add that to it.